Good evening and welcome to a slightly earlier version of On the Sofa tonight. I hope you're all well and staying out of the sun. My name's Andy and I'm standing in for Chris today as she's on a European scouting mission. So we've got two very special guests on tonight. Immediately we've got Scott Lindsey, the Swindon Town manager, and he will be with us for around half an hour, answering Vic's questions and anything you'd like to put on through Twitter, Facebook and the like. Then at 5:30, we have Alex Pike from the Trust to talk about all things going on there. So just a couple of parish notices. The Official Supporters Club, just like to point out the memberships are ready and due for renewal. So please can you sort of do that? It's £5 a year and there's lots and lots of wonderful sort of benefits to doing it. Importantly, you do need to be a member if you want to travel on the SAS travel coaches. So please, if you haven't renewed already, please do. Without further ado, then what I'm going to do is bring Vic on. Vic, good evening to you. I hope you're well down in sunny Devon.
Very good evening to you, Andy. It's incredibly hot. I've got all the curtains drawn, trying to keep cool and trying to recover from Somerset's defeat on Saturday, but we won't go on about that too much. There we go. Lovely day. What can you say? Yeah.
And we're very much looking forward to our two guests tonight. And without further ado, Vic, I will now bring Scott on and over to you, and I will dive out.
Andy, thanks very much indeed. Just wait for Scott to appear. And there he is, smiling Scott Lindsey. Very nice to see you. Scott, thank you very much indeed. Good evening. Thanks ever so much for joining us, because I know right now it's pretty busy. Some breaking news today, of course, that Jack Payne has left and gone to Charlton. His contract came up on the 30th of June. He was a free agent. How did that disrupt your plans? Did you have to hang around to wait to see what he did? How did that work for you?
Well, listen, we wanted to obviously keep Jack. He was a integral part of our success last season. Great professional, good lad, brilliant around the building, and very good on the pitch. We wanted to keep him. We did everything we could, but ultimately he wanted to play as high as he could play. And if that was a League One club, that was going to be a League One club. There's nothing much we could have done to keep him. He rang me today and spoke to me and wanted to tell me personally before it broke on the news, which kind of demonstrates what a top lad he is, Of course, I was gutted because we wanted to keep him, but we did everything we could as a football club, and we did everything we could behind the scenes to try and make that happen. But ultimately, he's gone to Charlton, and I wish him all the best, and I hope he has a brilliant season next season.
Yeah, I've got a message on Twitter from PCM. It says, "Hi Vic, can you ask Scott if he already considers there to be a Payne replacement within the squad, or whether he intends to recruit?" I guess that was the unknown factor, whether you suddenly had Jack Payne back in your fold, or have you got somebody in your mind that you would bring in as a replacement?
Well, I think I look at Sadhu Khan, who we've signed from Chesterfield, as, I wouldn't call him a replacement for Jack, but he kind of plays in that position. He's different, a lot different from Jack Payne. He's different from what we had as well. He's a lot more robust and he makes tackles. He's, like I say, he's different. So I look at my midfield. I think my midfield's really strong. It's always been kind of a strong part of the team anyway. Will I make another signing in there? No, I won't. I think we've got more than enough in there now, with Ben Gladwin, Johnny Williams, Ricky Aguirre, obviously Lewis Reed, Ronan Darcy, obviously, who we signed as well, and Sadhu Khan, who's just come in as well from Chesterfield. So no, we've got good numbers in there, and I'm really pleased with the balance of that.
So your midfield unit, as far as you're concerned, is complete now. That's sorted.
Yes.
You've been linked with other players, of course. Do you expect other players to join between now and, well, the 30th of June? I mean, are you working on deals?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're looking to bring another centre half in, and I think that we'd like to bring possibly another forward in as well. So, listen, that's ongoing at the moment. We're very close to getting one done. Hopefully, should be announced very shortly. So yeah, it's an ongoing process, and I think that we wanted to be in a position where, you know, even the last day of the window, if there could be still one that popped up of interest, that we would still have you know, a budget to take another one. So yeah, we're still active.
Marcus sent a message saying, could we bring Tyree Simpson back on loan? I mean, his name has been mentioned, but I mean, I've seen a £400,000 price tag attached to him by Ipswich, which I presume is out of Swindon's reach. But is there a possibility of talking to Ipswich about another loan deal with him, or is he not in the building, as it were?
No, I think we did make inquiries of Tyrese. You know, he'd done really well for us last year, and we would have made a move on that. I think that Ipswich have put a big price tag on him in terms of a permanent, but if it was a loan, I think that they're looking to loan him out to League One. So again, we miss out possibly on that one based on the fact that we're League Two. So no, disappointing, but like, you know, take Tyrese back all day long. He's, you know, I thought he did really well for us. Again, he adds that little bit of something different. You know, obviously power and strength at the top of the pitch.
So it's a no, but possibly not a no. Is that fair to say?
Well, no, I think, like I say, I think Ipswich were looking to loan him to League One more than anything. I think that if it was going to happen, then maybe on the, you know, late knockings of the window, but I would think that it'll go League One.
Okay, another one from Andy. Could you ask Scott if he had any input on release players, terms for out of contract players, etc., or was it down to Ben Garner? If he didn't have input, would he have kept Dion? I think the point is, obviously, the retain list was drawn up before you became head coach. Did you have any input in that, or was that completely Ben Chorley and Ben Garner?
No, I think we, as a group of staff, we certainly had meetings, and we had. We all had a kind of input. Whether that influenced the final decision or not remains to be seen. But Dion was a good player. I really enjoyed working with Dion. He was a very good footballer, kind of fitted into how we wanted to play. Would I have kept him? Possibly, yeah. But, you know, it's one of them questions that it's hard to answer because he's gone now. You know, he's gone to a club and he's apparently got a really good contract there, and good luck to him. I really enjoyed working with him. Good lad, good pro. But listen, he's moved on, and we move on, and you know, and that's football.
From Steve, do you fear any other first team players leaving? Because as we know, the transfer window is kind of open still till I think it's early September, isn't it? Are you worried, or have you not had any offers coming up? People asking for players of yours? What's the situation?
No, I don't think I am worried. Listen, we've got good players here, and it wouldn't surprise me if anybody come in for any of them. But I think that we're, with what we've got now, obviously with a few additions to add, I would be hopeful that the players who are here now would stay. Listen, who knows? There could be lucrative offers come in for one or two of my players, and maybe we have to discuss that. But at the moment, there's been nothing concrete coming in for any of the players. So as far as I'm concerned, they're our players now, and they will be moving forward. How's
pre-season gone for you? Because you know, you were there at the start of pre-season. Has it gone as you wanted it to go?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, I think we've got out of the players what we wanted to in terms of minutes on the pitch. We've worked extremely hard during the week, and we've kind of looked at the loading of what we wanted from the players in terms of their distance covered, high speed running, things like that. And we've got it pretty much spot on, and we've come out of it up to now with no injuries. So yeah, we're really pleased at where we are.
How have you managed the heat? I mean, we've all had to manage the heat, quite frankly, but is there you want them to get as fit as possible, but obviously you've got to be careful with their health. So how have you managed that over the last few days, and tomorrow indeed? Yeah,
we've adjusted slightly. Today we adjusted. We started an hour earlier than we normally start, which meant we were in the building by sort of like 11:30, 11:45, when the real heat started hitting. So, and we'll do the same again tomorrow. Tomorrow was actually planned to be a treble session, so we're going to do 2 double sessions on the grass and a gym session. But now we've kind of knocked the afternoon session on the head. So we'll do an early morning grass session, and then back to the county ground for a gym session. So we've actually adjusted it accordingly, but we have to be safe with the lads, and obviously we don't want them to be dehydrated or anything like that, because obviously, you know, it can do more harm than anything. So no, listen, it was hot today. But they trained really well. And they put a real shift in. But like I say, we were back in the building for about 11:30, 12:15. So by the time the real kind of like middle of the day sun hit, we were indoors and finished by then. So yeah.
What about playing style? Three at the back seems to have been mentioned quite a lot with the wing backs. Is that how you're going to go? And I hate to use this phrase, but Plan B was mentioned a lot last year, or the lack of it. A, are you going to go with three at the back? And B, do you have a Plan B?
No, I think with the three at the back, we've got players in sort of like the building who can play a 3-5-2, and we've also got players who can flip to a 4-3-3. So, I'm not going to say we're definitely going to do that, and we're not going to do that. That we've got players who can adjust. So we'll be working on kind of two systems, or at least two, whether it's a back three or a back four. In terms of a Plan B, I've always felt that the way we play, or the way we kind of played last season, and probably historically at Swindon, we've always been a possession-based football club throughout the years, and we found our success that way. I personally would like to play exactly the same as that, but be slightly more aggressive with it. I feel that we can play forward more, for sure. I feel that we can be a little more aggressive with our passing. I don't want to play out from the back and kind of take my time with it. I'd like to play out from the back and be more efficient with it, and play through the thirds at a quicker rate of knots, and try and get at the opposition a little bit more aggressively and a little bit more quicker. And that's certainly been the work we've been doing on the training ground. And I think you'll see even the likes of Ben Gladwin, who's come back 5 kilos lighter than he was last season. And, looking at Ben, going back to 2015, 2016, I think it was when we sold him, he travelled really well with the ball, and he could run with the ball, and he could really take players on. Didn't really see that with him last season. Kind of saw him be more pedestrian, whereas I want him to be more aggressive again. And I know he's a little bit older, but he's a lot fitter than he was last season for sure. And I want to see that more aggression in terms of when we get into them spaces to drive at the opposition and kind of make things happen a little bit more quicker. So is it a Plan B? It's probably more of an aggressive Plan A, if I'm honest with you.
So we won't see the two sort of centre backs standing by the goalkeeper waiting for the goal kick to be done. I mean, the point I'm making. That was
we want to play out from the back because we feel it gives us that control from them deep areas. So yeah, we'll still play out from the back. But my point is, we want to play, but we want to progress forward quicker, and we want to try and play through quicker. So it's not a case of playing out from the back because it's a circus and it's a gimmick. It's not. We want to do it because we feel it makes us more efficient, but we want to be aggressive with it. So we're playing through quicker. Listen, if we could play one pass up to the centre forward and he could turn and shoot every time, we'd do that. But of course, the opposition don't allow you to do that. So, we just want to be efficient and aggressive with it.
Yeah, you'll remember the Davison goal. I'm sure that the Route 1 goal from Jojo Wallicott's a kick up the field. It was a beautiful goal, and it was Route 1 personified, wasn't it? It was absolutely fantastic. What about your squad in terms of, have you decided on your captain yet? Have you worked out who that's going to be?
No, I have thought about it. We're still yet to kind of make that decision, but I'm nearly there.
And what will that come down to? Will it come down to attitude? Will it come down to respect? How would that work?
Yeah, it comes down to all them. It comes down to leadership skills. It comes down to kind of experience. It comes down to a lot of them things. And I'll be picking a captain, but I'll also be picking a vice captain who I believe is a leader as well. So we'll have two real leaders, doing a really good job. And it's not just about kind of having that captaincy on the pitch. It's about having good leaders in the dressing room, around the place, day to day, making sure that the players are tidy and tight, and making sure that they're good professionals and they're doing everything right. And if we can have that, I wouldn't call it a leadership group, but I'd call it, two experienced players who kind of like tidy things up, then it can only be for the good of the group.
And will that be made by Saturday for the home friendly, that decision?
Possibly.
Okay. Right. Lots of questions coming in, which I'll get to in a minute. But I just wanted to ask you about Matthew Baldry. There's talk of him being a coach as well. Is that in your thinking?
No. If I'm totally honest with you, no. I've not spoke to Matty about that. I think that we have a really good relationship. He's a very, very good professional, a great person to work with, great fun, great around the place. I love being around him. But I don't think he'll take the coach route, if I'm honest with you. I don't think that's kind of how I see him. I don't think he sees himself that way either.
Okay, fair enough. Right, let's get to some of these. James asks, just out of interest, did we speak to Charlie Austin before he went to Australia? We heard rumours that we were speaking to him again. Was there anything in that?
No, there was nothing in that, no.
Right, that knocks that on the head then. Hi, Scott, fair play to you coming on. What do you think of the Simpson situation? £600,000 for a player they don't even put in the first team. Well, we've kind of gone down that route. Can I ask Scott what the situation is with Jordan Lyden? This is from Ian. Is he fully fit? Yet, as he's not played in the friendlies, or is it that because he can't play because he's not under contract? What is Jordan's situation? I know the club were giving him till around October. Is that right?
Yeah. So Jordan's obviously had his injury, so he's rehabbing with us. We're kind of giving him everything in terms of his rehabilitation. He's not under contract, so he's coming in every day. He's working extremely hard to rehab. We're hopeful that he's going to be fit, probably around, like you say, October time. And then once he's fit, then we can kind of look at it and think whether there's going to be an opportunity for me to offer him a contract and go from there. But, he's working extremely hard. He's been great around the place. He's doing like extra sessions in the gym and everything like that. So, we're doing all we can to make sure that we do the right thing to get him back fit after obviously a long period out.
I guess it'd be like a new signing if he did come back fully fit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, listen, a fit Jordan Lyden's as good as anybody, isn't he? In the football league, I was sort of like, last season when he got in the team and he played, he was in a real good place, and bless him, the injury went again, and he did nothing but feel for him, and it's not been a great time for him in terms of injuries, but what a player, and it's a shame really, that he's had the amount of injuries that he's had.
Right, lots of these questions we've already kind of answered, but this one is from Chris. How's your relationship with Ben Garner now? Do you think he lacks a bit of class and respect in terms, I guess, A, the way he left, B, the way he's coming back and basically nicking everything but the teapot? What is your relationship with him?
He took the teapot as well, actually.
Oh, did he? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
No, my relationship's really good with Ben. I actually spoke to him on Saturday. He's a good guy, and I worked closely with him last season. I don't want to comment on kind of how he left the club or anything like that. I don't think it'd be fair for me to comment on that. But no, I speak to Ben. I think that he has a job to do as much as I have as well. And am I annoyed he's took Jack Payne? Yeah, of course, but that's football, isn't it? But no, listen, I don't want to comment kind of on how Ben left the club. That's not for me to say. But no, he's a good guy, very good coach, and I wish him all the best in his new job. Okay,
fair enough. Kevin asks, are we going to use the loan system again? It does make a nice change to not go down that road. I think you've got 2 loan signings at the moment. Presumably that leaves you options to bring more loan players in. But are you the sort of coach who wants your own players and not see the situation that we saw last Christmas, say, when we lost influential footballers, Tyrese Simpson being one, Kane Kessler-Hayden, kind of disrupting the team at a very crucial point?
No, it's a really good question. And I think there's loads of value in having your own players, isn't there? I think it's always better if you have your own. But of course, listen, if they come available and they can make the team better, and they can add to the group, then we're going to take them. Yeah, we've got 2 currently at the moment. That might go up to 3 by the end of the window. We have got, we've got a place to get 5 in, but we probably won't get 5 in, And like I said, there's value in it, but there's also, a lot to be said for having your own players. And I'm probably be more of that ilk where I would like to have my own players. But like I say, if there's players that come in who can add to the group, who can make us better, and we can have them for a season, then we will do that.
Okay, let's have a look. Will you wave a scarf above your head and show some passion, or be like Garner and not showing? I mean, how are you on the touchline? I mean, we've seen you in friendlies, but how are you? Are you? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult. Are you a Decanio who runs up and downs and shows all that, or are you? Are you somebody who stands there, you know, and just contemplate? How would you sum yourself up?
I don't know, if I'm honest with you. I think that, listen, I concentrate on the game first and foremost. When the game's going on, that's the biggest thing for me, is to concentrate on the game. Have I got passion? Yes, I have. Will I engage with the supporters? Yes, I will. Will I go on and kiss the badge and beat my chest? Probably, yeah. And why not? You know, the club means a lot to me, and why shouldn't I, and why won't I? Yes, I will. But we'll see. You know, listen, ultimately, I've got to do a good job first of all. You know, it's about, you know, doing my job properly and making sure that the team are playing a brand of football that we can all be proud of, and of course winning games. But yeah, listen, you'll see plenty of passion from me, definitely.
Good to hear. Becky asked a simple question, and I guess it's the question a lot of us are asking, really: is your aim promotion?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I'll put pressure on myself. You know, first and foremost, I think we're all in this to do well and to win games of football. What's my hopes? I hope we, like I said before in previous interviews and that, I hope I win every game. Will I win every game? Probably not, but I hope I do. And I'll be aiming to do as best as we can do. And is that promotion? Yeah, of course. I want to win promotion. I'd be mad if I sat here and said, no, well, you know, we might not do it this year. I have to have that positive outlook. I have to believe in myself. I have to believe in the team that are around me. And yeah, that's the aim for sure.
Okay. Let's have a look. There's loads of questions coming in, as you can imagine, and I hope we can have you on again at some point. I know this is a really busy time to you, so I get that, so that's fine.
No problem.
Let's have a look. Danny says, what positions are you looking to strengthen? Are you happy with what you have? McCurdy, Reed going to stay? I mean, I guess forward options are something you would be looking at. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think, first of all, McCurdy and Reed, yeah, of course, we want them to stay. You know, they're a massive part of how we play. So, yeah, for sure. In terms of positions, what we're looking for now, yeah, I think another forward we need another forward in. And I think, obviously, another centre-half is the two positions that I would be looking to strengthen. Like I said earlier, the midfield for me is sound. We've got really good balance in there. We've got kind of different players in there from last season. And then you look at in the wide areas, we've got real power and pace. You know, we've got good kind of blend to our wide players as well. So yeah, I think a centre half for sure, and a centre forward.
Okay, there have been names mentioned in the centre half department, but I know as head coaches and managers, you don't really want to ruin things. So, how can I put this? Is there one imminent? I might ask.
No, well, yeah, there is,
okay.
But I can't say who it is at the moment, because there's certain things going on in the background. So I can't. I'd love to say I really would, and we was hoping that it would be done in time for this tonight, so we could kind of announce it on air or announce it just before we come on air. But I can't at the moment. But there is one very close.
Okay. What about experience? Because a lot of people have pointed to the fact that, you know, this is a young squad. And how do you come to these decisions? Because I'm guessing you're somebody who likes to watch games, who likes to watch football, who likes to do the due diligence. But there's also, of course, the new system with statistics and data-led signing. So how does this work between you and those statistics? Do you rather look at the human side, or is it statistics-based? How would you do it?
Well, we kind of look at the positions we want, obviously, first and foremost, and then we'll get a list of players that we think that fit into the remit of how we play. We'll do the data on it. If the data comes through really, really good, then we'll sit down and get to grips with it and watch the player at real detail. We'll then do our due diligence, like you rightly said, on the player's character, and then we'll make a decision whether he is the right fit or not. You know, and that's pretty much it. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. very simple process. You know, and that's it. You know, it's really that simple. And we spend out the bit that's not simple is the work that goes into it. Obviously, the hours that we spend watching these players and making sure that we're happy, making sure that we've definitely got the right one, which, you know, is kind of, I suppose, in effect, the coach's eye, what I call the coach's eye myself. I'll look and see, and the decision will be made on kind of what I see, and if it fits, or if I think it fits, then we'll go from there. We'll speak to the agent and try and make it happen.
Saturday, of course, first home game for you in charge. Will we be looking at a team that's close to the one at Harrogate? I mean, is that how you're going to play it, or will it still be undecided? How would that be?
I don't think it'd be a million miles away from the team that will play at Harrogate. It might even be the team that play at Harrogate. I can't probably tell you that yet. But we're still at the stages of having a look, seeing if there's new players coming in. They may not be quite ready, but they may need game time as well. So, you know, there's lots to think about. But I don't think it'll be a million miles away from what you see at Harrogate.
Okay. And a word about you, really, because, you know, this is a big change in your life, I'm guessing. You know, this is in the past, you've been assistant manager and coach and things like that, and a player, obviously. But now you're the man. How's it changed your life?
How's it changed my life? I feel I deserve this. I feel I deserve a go. I feel as if I've done my apprenticeship. I feel as if I've been somebody's assistant for many years. I've done first team coach's job, assistant manager, youth coach, and I've taken a lot on board in terms of working with different people. I've worked with some good managers. I've worked with some not so good managers. No disrespect, and I've taken a lot on board, good and bad. You know how not to do it as well. And I feel I'm ready. I feel that this is kind of my time. You know, I feel as if there's been certain things that have happened in my life as well, personal things that have rocked me, and it's been difficult. I've had a difficult couple of years, and I feel that this is my time now to have a right go, and I will. And I'm really excited, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. And one thing you'll get from me is honesty, and you'll get hard work, and whatever happens out there, it will be my best. And you know, and you'll see a brand of football that hopefully that the supporters can be proud of and really get behind. And you know, and hopefully we'll do well. And you'll see a team out there that are working hard, extremely hard, and good in possession and fast attacks and plenty of chances on goal, hopefully, you know. So no, I'm really excited, and I'm really looking forward to it. And like I say, I feel that I'm more than equipped, and I'm ready to take this job on.
Well, that's good to hear. And I without going into you know, your personal life and the things that you faced, does that give you a perspective on football that maybe wouldn't necessarily have?
Definitely. I listen. I went through hellish times. I lost my wife to cancer nearly 3 years ago, and I learned so much more about myself as well, you know, and about people. And you know, I'm not somebody who hides behind things. I'm somebody who'll stand there and front it out. And I've learned a hell of a lot about myself, like I say. And you know, I'm passionate about the football club. Like I've said before, I've been here before. You know, I was a youth coach here back in 2014-15. Produced players into the first team back then, and I come back obviously last season with Ben as the assistant manager. So this club means a lot to me. Believe it or not, it means a hell of a lot to me. And I found that, you know, coming back here really helped me. You know, I got back into the professional game. When my wife was poorly, I was the assistant manager at Forest Green, and I come out the game to look after her. And this was kind of the first job back in football after she passed away. And it means a lot to me because Swindon give me a chance again, to come back in, and it really does mean a lot to me. And I want to do well for the football club because they give me a chance back, and I want to really thank them for that by doing well this season.
Well, Maria says, great to see such openness, Scott. You deserve this. Go get them. So I think the general view is we're behind you. We want you to do well because if you do well, our football club does well. It's that simple, isn't it, really? And, you've worked hard. You've been in the non-league game. You've been the other side of the fence, as it were, haven't you? You've done all that. So, to get this opportunity, you're not going to sit there and on your thumbs and not do your best, are you?
No, I've done the hard yards, as it were, and listen, most of my career was non-league. I think I played in every single non-league division going, from National League all the way down, all the way through, and coaching's a little bit different, obviously, with my coaching. I've most of my coaching career has been in the Football League and that. So now, like I say, I feel I'm more than ready, more equipped to do this job, and I'm excited and like I say, more than ready.
Yeah, I was looking through your career last year, and you played for Bridlington Town, and I was just wondering when that was because they won the FA Vars, didn't they? And against Tiverton, and I did the commentary on that game, bizarrely and strangely enough. But I think you joined the year after they won the FA Vars. Is that right?
I was there, I believe, 93, 94. But they actually played their own games, believe it or not, at Doncaster Rovers' ground, which was then the Bellevue. So we played our own games there. And I only played, a handful of games before Gillingham snapped me up and took me down on trial. And I went down on trial at Gillingham and then got a professional contract from there and moved down there. And my family home's still sort of like in the Medway towns now. So it was a long time ago, 94. I think it was 93, 94.
Are you going to move up to Swindon?
Well, I have sort of, listen, my family home's kind of in Kent. It's funny, really, because most of my coaching career, in fact, all of my coaching career has been away from home. I've been at Lincoln City, obviously Forest Green, Swindon, Tamworth. So every job that I've been in football coaching has been away from home. I've never actually lived at home in sort of like 12 years. So it's kind of like a normal thing for me and my family now, So no, they'll stay put in Kent because that's kind of their home, and they've got, my elderly or older children have got jobs there, and my youngest one goes to school there, and I won't be moving them, but we're more than comfortable doing it this way. We've done it all these years now anyway, so that's kind of life.
Just a couple more questions, and we'll let you go because I know you're busy and there's an imminent signing, I'm guessing. Andy says, what do you remember about your time at Ashford Town? Do you remember any about that?
I do. What do I remember at Ashford Town? Not a great deal. I don't think I was there very long, to be honest with you. Probably another like non-league club in Kent that I played for. I don't really remember a great deal about it, if I'm honest with you. So I apologise for that. Okay,
fair enough. Have we worked on being more of a threat from corners and positive with throw-ins, something we've been lacking? I mean, I'm guessing you do a lot of stuff like that, set pieces, things like that, do you?
Of course, yeah, we do, yeah. And, I think the longer we get closer to the first game, the more work we'll do towards that anyway, yeah, for sure. But no, we want to become a threat off corners. I think it's a big factor in League Two. There's a lot of goals scored off corners, but yeah, for sure, something we wasn't very good at last season, obviously, but we'll be definitely looking to improve on that for sure.
Yeah, we all remember McCurdy's header from the corner against Port
I think he was the only one who scored. I think he was the only one who scored off a corner, wasn't he, McCurdy?
Yeah, it was a cracking header, though, to be fair. Yeah. Dave says, I'm from Kent. I'll give him a lift next time I go and see the family. So there you are. You got an offer of a lift.
Could do with a rest from driving.
Ben says, apart from us, who do you think will push for promotion?
I think it's going to be a real competitive league this season. There's even the likes of Crawley are spending big money. I think that's been clear to see through all the press and that. So, I think there's going to be a lot of teams going to be pushing. I think Stockport County are going to be kind of up and around it as well. Bradford City are going to be around it. Salford's, teams who are, have got big budgets are going to be really pushing. It's going to be. I think it's a more competitive league this season than last for sure. So yeah, it'll be tough.
Well, we're looking forward to it greatly, and hopefully throughout the season we can get you on and talk about you a little bit more about your career and things like that. That would be really nice to do. So, Scott, we wish you all the very best. And
Thanks, Steve.
as we've said before, if you do well, our football team does well, and that's basically what we want. So, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Scott. I think that from the messages that are coming through, they just really appreciate your honesty in that. And I think a lot of people just cannot wait until not only next Saturday, but the 30th of July up to sunny Harrogate. So, really, really appreciate your time. And we look forward to seeing you on here again sometime. Okay. Thanks you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Scott. Thank you very much.
Right. Now, part 2 of the evening. How open and honest was Scott? That was superb, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, lovely bloke. And as I've said to him, we wish him well, because if he does well, we do well. So that's all we really want, isn't it? So
that's absolutely true. Yep. Now, for part 2 of tonight's live stream, we've got Alex waiting in the wings now from the Trust to answer all the questions that are coming through. So I'll bring Alex on. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, how are you? Hope you're not too hot down there. Or up there.
No, not at the moment. A little bit sun-kissed from yesterday, but yeah, hiding today.
Lovely, fantastic. Okay, I'll leave you two gentlemen to it then.
All right, lovely. Thanks very much indeed, Andy. Alex, thanks very much indeed for joining us. You're with the Community Foundation, I think it's fair to say, isn't it? And is that why you're a little bit sun-kissed from yesterday?
Not quite. No, I work for the academy, so. Yesterday was actually it was a day off, and I was at Fairford, so there was no hiding from the sun there.
The international air tattoo. Anything in particular you enjoyed seeing?
No, it's just a great day out. Obviously, we haven't been able to go to anything for a couple of years because of COVID. So me and my fiance went.
Well, I used to work on that airfield many years ago, and not that I'll bore you with that, but anyway, yeah, always a place close to my heart. Right, let's have a look. Lots of questions will come in. I'm guessing about something that I'm going to ask you about.
Yeah.
Karachi FC. Now, how did you get involved with Karachi FC?
So it was born from a vision and from a partnership that the club has with Karachi FC. Now, that's obviously through Zav, so through Zav Austin. So Zav approached me with an idea, and one of his big things is to dream big. And he's always said it, and he always goes on onto these sorts of things and speaks about dreaming big. And if 10 years ago we was to say that the best player in the world, or one of the best players in the world, in like Mo Salah, for example, would be from Egypt, most people would laugh. So the vision is that there's a lot of untapped sort of talent around the world. So creating a partnership with somewhere that not a lot of places go. A lot of places go to the Spains and the Portugals and places like that, but not too many people go to places that are a little bit underprivileged. So it was born from that vision. Then I got involved. Zav approached me, which was a massive honour to be asked to represent the club abroad, about putting this project together, about setting up the academy, and then going from there.
How does it all work then? Because you'll be aware that there are people who are a little bit, what is this about? Because Swindon Town, Karachi don't necessarily fit together. How does this work?
So in terms of what I do whilst I'm there, or
yeah, and how often are you going to go, and what are we going to see from it? That kind of thing, really.
Yeah, okay. So the vision is, the long-term goal is, the North Star is that there's a professional football player there. So what we've been looking at is we've been looking at younger players, so 13 and 14-year-olds. So the first time I went out there was in March, and what we set up basically was trials. So we didn't really know what to expect from the trials. We didn't know how many kids would turn up, but when we got there, it was very kind of obvious the buzz that was around sort of football and the buzz that was around this partnership between Karachi FC and ourselves at Swindon Town. We planned for maybe 50 kids a day. We ended up getting about 300 kids a day turning up to come be part of this, to want to be a professional football player. Now, the area in Pakistan that we're in, and in Karachi doing, is Lyden. Now, as I'm sure a lot of people are aware, that cricket's the number one sport there. Whereas in Lyden, it's very, it's very Brazilian. There's a lot of street football. So there's a lot of kids that are playing football there, but there's not a lot of organized football. So kind of for us, what it was about in that is given the opportunity. So we gave the opportunity to the kids, to the boys, to showcase their stuff in a structured environment. And the structured environment is based on what we do here. So the academy values, the academy philosophy, how we sort of put our sessions together, the methodology behind it, what we look for within an academy setting, and recreating that and taking that there. And again, with that, we've got a couple of coaches who we selected. So not only players come in, but coaches come in as well. Coaches that want to learn, that want to develop, and be part of this in Karachi. So whilst I'm not there, they're running the sessions within the academy in line with what we do here at Swindon Town FC. So that was the first trip. And then what we had to do was select 22 players. So 22 players that would become part of this. Additionally, on top of this as well, they're getting English lessons, which is really good for them. So it's not just about providing that footballing opportunity, but there's those life experiences and things like that that we can do for the individual, as well as the football element of it. We massively value that too. Not just there in Karachi, but here at Swindon Town. So yeah, that was the first one. The second journey, or the second time I went out there, was a couple of months ago in May, and that was more around using the structure that we have here and leading sessions on a daily basis. So the things that we'd look at, similar to running like our scholarship program that we've got here. So we might have technical and tactical practices along with some physical things, talking a lot as well about nutrition and hydration, how to stretch, things like that. So really laying foundations for what will be the next visit, which I believe is soon as well.
So it carries on even though you're not there, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. It carries on even if I'm not there. Yeah.
Does Karachi FC exist as a football club? Is there a football club called Karachi FC?
There's not a football club that we've joined up with called Karachi FC. So I'll speak a little bit about the commissioner. So the commissioner of Karachi, Commissioner Iqbal Memon. Part of his vision was, in Pakistan, only a certain type of person can be involved in organized sport, and that's someone who has money.
Right.
So the kids that are talented might not get the opportunity to play because they don't come from a background that allows them to go to organized sport. So the commissioner basically come up with Karachi FC in partnership with ourselves. So with that, we now give the opportunity to these kids to come into an environment that's structured, that's safe, that's all of these things, and give them the opportunity to showcase what they're all about, showcase their skills. And then obviously within our environment as well, if they're part of that 22 now, that they'll learn more.
Yeah, because I've got a question here from Craig. It says, and along the same lines, you'll be aware of this skepticism. I mean, you must be aware of that. Yeah, I think some of the skepticism about the link with Karachi FC is that they have no online presence and no history. Could Alex say something about the level of organisation there? I mean, is there a stadium? Is there a pitch? Is it just in a park? How does it all work?
No, it's at a stadium. So you go to the stadium, and then within there, obviously, you've got your change rooms, you've got your pitch, so you've got everything that you need there to coach, to play a game of football. In terms of kit and stuff like that, we've provided that. So I've taken some kit out there when I've gone, which has been brilliant. Even just down to the sort of the personal level of it, whereby you're giving kids that come from poverty a kit that for us is the norm, and we see it within the academy environment. It's the norm to get new training kits, the norm to get new match, that sort of stuff. But there, it's like you're giving them the world. So you take over some footballs as well. So just bringing that structure in. So the structure kind of comes from us. So we basically put in what we need, why we need it, and to create a professional environment over there.
Okay, so it's fair to say then that what you basically want is a gem to come from that. isn't it? I mean, when
the North
might
Star.
when might we see a player from there play here?
So we're looking at the moment. The trials have been ran for 13 to 14-year-olds. So in what we basically then have is we have the structure there for a couple of years that they follow what we do in our environment from the coaches that are working there and from visits from myself as well. Then at 16, when we get to scholars, that's when we'd look to have players over here as scholars. Now there's players over there that are talented. They are. I wouldn't come on here and lie. Because there's just no point in that. But there's players there that just need that opportunity. It is honestly untapped talent.
A question here from Sean. Wouldn't an Aussie link be better, as with the historical British links, work permits may not be necessary or easier to get? And obviously, we have a football club owner who happens to be Australian. I mean, presumably the club are looking at things like that as well, are they?
Absolutely, yeah. So I know Zav's very keen to set up these things around the world. So I wouldn't say that Australia would be off the map for that. So yeah, I know that there'll be other projects and there'll be other links internationally. So yeah, Australia wouldn't be. I'm not saying we're going there, by the way, but I'm just saying I'm sure it's something that's considered.
Yeah, we won't quote you and say Alex said.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence that this link is engaging the Pakistani community in Swindon? Because that would be a real spin-off, wouldn't it? That you could engage, and I think if you look at football crowds generally, more diversity would be very welcome. So is that a thing?
Yeah, I'd 100% agree in that. When the coaches will be coming into our environment at the end of September, and what they'll do is they'll spend some time here, working in the academy, working and shadowing up in the first team to learn more about our environment. So more than just me going there and telling them about it, they come and see it, they come and feel it. So they know it's all well and good talking about something, but obviously they know how it feels and that they know what it looks like here, so they can replicate that there. But with that as well, we want to engage them with the local community here and show that we're more engaged with that. And another massive thing that's come away from it, not just in terms of the local community, but within the academy environment, is that I've taken a lot away from those experiences, and now I understand more about those as individuals that come from those backgrounds. So even down to like welcoming kids to session, understanding what they're going through when they're fasting and things like that. So we've had a lot of discussions in-house around, okay, how do we support that better and how do we understand that better? So it's actually been two ways with that.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we saw, didn't we, the Football League engaging with this, with breaks where fasting was broken when I can't remember what it was now, but for the first time we actually saw breaks because it was Ramadan and things like that. So the Football League were getting on board with that, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I think would be really good in terms of our environment when they can eat and things like that in the evening or throughout the night, the allocated sort of times that they get is actually, we spoke about, okay, can we open up for the academy? Can we run something for the academy? So the boys that are fasting, they come in and they eat and drink, but boys that are not from that background also come in and get to experience it as well. So there's a better understanding across. So it is something that we're looking at and exploring. I think it'd be really powerful if we got to a point whereby we can do that.
Alan says, hi Alex, I've got a few under 12s in a county that begins with O and X and then it ends in Shire. I think you know which one I mean. Worth looking at. Yeah. Would love one of my lads wearing a Swindon shirt in the future. So many youngsters left out with great talent, e.g. Austin. In terms of, would it be better, the question I'm going to ask, would it be better for the club to put their eggs in that basket rather than look abroad for talent? What would you say to that?
We've got a scouting system here. We've got a very good scouting network, like through the academy and obviously through the first team as well. So this is slightly different to that, is what I would say. I'd say this is more about spreading the good word of Swindon Town internationally, as well as in this country and as well as in the West Country, as well as locally. So yeah, that would be my answer to that one there. But obviously, if he's got a local team full of under 12s and whatnot, and he gets in contact with somebody at the club, if there's a player that's worth looking at, our scouting network are very open to that kind of thing, and we could get scouts to go and watch a game.
So basically, get in touch, and if they think
I'll be happy with that. Yeah,
excellent. Paul says, are we ahead of ourselves when we don't own our own training ground and don't have the facilities ourselves that a lot of other clubs do? And you're going to Pakistan to look at players over there. Would it be better if the club got that sorted before they did other things? What would you say to that?
I'd say we can do both at the same time. There's obviously, and as we've all seen through the transparency and whatnot, that route that the club's gone down is that we know that training grounds, obviously owning the ground, redeveloping things around here, it is in the pipeline. So I'd say we could do, and we are doing both at the same time, and that's working.
What have you learned from this?
A lot. So I spoke about then around culture and things like that, and I'd say myself personally, if I was to be very, very honest, my knowledge of Pakistan and Karachi and things like that before I went was very limited, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Whether it's down to what the country is as a whole, what the people are like there, but the biggest thing that I come away and I kind of said to everybody since I've been back is perception versus reality. So the perception is probably one thing, but the reality is something completely different. So when you're there, the people are so warm, so welcoming, so kind, so humble. So I've learned a lot about that. But what I've also learned about is the kids there, that they do love their football. They're resilient kids. There's that element of it too. And then outside of that, what can we take that they have and bring it back to our environment? So I touched on earlier on about it being a two-way thing, that they hopefully learn a lot from me, and they learn a lot from what we're doing there as a club. But I also take so much away from them. It's like, okay, so they've got this resilience and this robustness to play on rocks all week with a football that we wouldn't dream of playing football with. So they've got that resilience there. How do we recreate that in our environment? How do we make that part of our environment? How do we take their motivation to want to be the best, to want to take their family out of poverty or something? How do we create a similar motivation within our environment? So there's a lot of things that I take from them, whether they know it or not, and bring back to this environment. Like we spoke about earlier on around fasting and things, is there more that we can do here within the academy and within the football club to maybe open up at a certain time and get not just the boys that are fasting in their families, but open it up to others within the academy, within the club, or something like that as well. So it's more of an educational thing.
Craig says, Alex, great answers, very diplomatic and very honest. Two very positive interviews today with Scott Lindsey on earlier, of course. Proud of my club and the culture change of the last 51 weeks. The football club is the heart of the community, isn't it? And are you feeling that? Are you feeling that Swindon is more the heart of the community now than it was, say, 12 months ago? That's not difficult, let's be honest. But are you beginning to feel that?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So from myself, I'm born in Swindon, raised here, supported the football club my life. I've watched football here with my granddad, with my dad, with my brother who still goes. So yeah, there's a feel good factor here. There's a definite feel good factor here. There's obviously lots of things going on that we can all get really, really excited about, and obviously this dream and this vision of Zav's is part of that feel good factor and spreading the good word that's going on here at the moment, not just within the country, not just within the community, but internationally as well.
Gordon says, what an eloquent and enthusiastic young man Alex is, a great ambassador for STFC. Sean says, far better speaker than most players and managers. Top lad Alex. So there you are.
Thank you.
If you do find a gem, how difficult is it to bring someone into the club structure? With older players, you have to get work permits, etc. How does it work with youngsters? I mean, a very good question, because you have to prove that a player coming into your squad it has international credentials. I think at the moment, I might be wrong in all this, but how does this work? If say there's a 16-year-old who think, boy, this is going to be the kiddie, how would that work?
I'll be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure. So again, don't quote me on this, but my understanding around it is a scholarship is part of education. So if you're here as a scholar, you get education as well. So you'd be doing exams and things like that within our environment, and we provide all of that. So if you like we're trying to do, or the North Star is bringing scholars into our academy environment and into our academy setup, would be they'd be students. So
right,
that's my understanding there. Like I said earlier on, don't quote me on that one.
Fair enough. Okay,
but that's my understanding around that there.
Okay. Jason says, could the academy not run trials to see if there's a gem that may have fallen through the net? In my old days, the football club had trials, where duffers like me could turn up and have a game, and they'd say, no, thanks, going off and have another career. Do you run trials now? How does that all work? I mean, there might be somebody in Rodbourne, say, he's a fabulous footballer, but hasn't had the opportunity. Do you run trials?
So it's kind of all part of our scouting network. So our scouts will be out at games. They'll be at local tournaments. So like Highworth and Supermarine run massive tournaments throughout summers and things. So our scouts will be there. They'll then also be across games every Sunday throughout the season. What we also have is like partnerships with different clubs as well, who may have players, may not have players, that will play games with. But in terms of a trial day where anybody can turn up, not so much. But outside of that, I think we cover it pretty well. Whereby, like I just said, the scouting team are about and they're watching teams. And going back to the gentleman from that certain shire earlier on.
Yeah.
Lovely
county. Don't get us wrong.
Oh yeah. People might get in contact with us and say, okay, would you be willing to play a game? I think we've got one or two players in here that would be worth looking at. And we're always open to things like that, because obviously they get to play against an academy, which a lot of clubs like to do. But we also then going back to the community and going back to spreading the good word. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll play you. We might not get that player, or the player might not quite be ready for that level, but we create a good partnership and we create a good link.
You'll be aware that people are a bit sort of skeptical about the financing of all this. You will be aware, and that's where a lot of the suspicions comes in. Mm-hmm. Are you 100% happy with the way this is being done? 100%.
100% happy. And if I'm honest, like I said earlier on, I'm really happy with it. I'm really honoured to be asked to go and sort of represent the club and be somewhat of an ambassador. Like I said, touching on my background, coming from Swindon, supporting Swindon and things like that is something that I'm actually quite proud of. And maybe I don't talk about that often enough. But yeah, it is. I'm 100% happy, and I 100% believe in what we're doing, obviously here, but in Karachi and whatnot as well.
Do you ever scout military schools, as they tend to fall outside the normal scouting network? Interesting question, because I guess there are a lot of footballers at military schools who are quite decent, but obviously they have military careers to look forward to. But
that's something I'll go back and mention to the scouting team, I reckon. So that's something I'll definitely take away from this.
Fair enough. Was really struck by the enthusiasm and ability of the young lad who fled Afghanistan and ended up in Preston in that Flintoff cricket thing on the TV at the minute. Great telly. Did you? I think he was from Afghanistan. I don't know if you watched the Freddie Flintoff documentary.
I haven't, but where is it? Because I watch it.
It's basically it's on BBC, and he's basically gone in to try to get a load of players who're not interested in cricket in Preston at all, and he's trying to put a team together, and he's come across this player who's come from Afghanistan initially and discovered that he's pretty darn good. I mean, so it shows that the talent's out there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And going back to what we said earlier, it's about opportunity, providing opportunity for young people to showcase themselves and showcase their skills, not just as footballers but as individuals as well. It's very important that we remember the individual as well as the footballer.
And when Zav first put this to you, what did you think? Crikey, what's this about? Did you think what, or did you think, yeah, great? How did you view
that? I was excited by the opportunity. I thought, for myself, obviously, we link back in again, being from Swindon, representing the club abroad. It is something that is really exciting, and with that as well, the amount of trust that was shown in me, to obviously go there, set up the structure, sort of embed things that we do here, talk about methods. That element of it really excited me. So yeah, that'd be my answer in short there. Just full of excitement for it, and not just obviously being, or I've gone there for 2 times already, but what's going to happen like going forward. So what's going to happen there going forward? What's going to happen in other centres that or academies that we set up around the world. So yes, it's excitement for the now, but it's probably even more excitement for the future.
Well, Alex, thank you very much for your time. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you. And, you know, obviously we'd like to catch up with you from time to time just to sort of gauge how it's going, things like that. But I think the comments coming in are saying what an impressive young man. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me, and thanks to everyone for the kind words. It means a lot.
Okay.
Andy.
Alex, yeah, really, really appreciate it. We've had, as Vic said, we've had lots and lots of comments. I think both interviews tonight have just sort of demonstrated what a great family club this is, and there's some very, very exciting times ahead. So really, really appreciate your time, Alex. We'll let you go on now to enjoy the rest of your evening. And for everybody else out there, thank you, Vic, for all you've done tonight.
Yeah. Just had another comment coming through from Lee. We're so lucky to have STFC Foundation. I know from the academy, but
yeah.
Well done for coming on this afternoon. Keep up the good work, Alex, and all involved. I see Rob Angus is watching, so I take this opportunity in front of Rob that we should be proud what our foundation and the academy do for club and community. So thank you very much. And I basically, with the foundation, I totally wholeheartedly go along with that as well. They do fantastic work. So yet another comment to take away with you, Alex. How about that?
No, I appreciate it, and just on that as well. If you'd have me on again after the next time I go, I'd be more than happy to come on and talk about what the latest trip looked like, and maybe be able to share some stuff with everybody as well. So there's visuals there. So I'm speaking these words and I'm telling you about it, but I'd love to be able to show you as well.
Well, I think we'd go along with that, Andy, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really would look forward to that. Yeah. Many thanks, Alex. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
All the best. Cheers.
Yeah. Okay, Vic. That's been quite a night. And
yes.
Now looking forward to Saturday.
Saturday, 12 o'clock. Don't forget. 12 o'clock kickoff against Cardiff. Don't forget, if you want reduced travel on SAS, become a member of the official supporters club, because then you get reduced travel costs on SAS travel. And they put a couple of tweets out earlier about what their new working arrangements are going to be. So if you go to SAS travel, all the details are on there. And Shauna said, quick Vic, Neighbours has just started. It's the start of the second last week of Neighbours on TV, which I'm devastated about. So there we go.
Okay. Thank you all for watching. You can obviously see this on YouTube. I think it's later on tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. And we look forward to the next, I think next week. Is there a panel on next week, Vic? I believe there is.
There will be something on next week. What it is, we don't know yet, but we will let you know. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much and have a good evening all. Thank you. Hello.